Yes, nothing catastrophic in the world of Google for a minute. AIs keep going on, but it's not the main focus. We've got wrap-ups from Pubcon, we've got WTS, the Women in SEO Fest happened last week, and SEO Horror Fails Traffic Think Tank is on it. Congrats, you guys got bought. Let's dive into the SEO Weekly. Welcome back to the SEO Weekly, where queries are weird, advice is controversial, and everything depends. I'm your host, Garrett Sussman of iPullRank, and every week I cover everything going on in the world of SEO. We're talking Google updates, blog posts, Twitter SEO, LinkedIn SEO, webinars, conferences, podcasts, you name it, I'm on it. If you are into this stuff, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, give us a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you like, what you hate, what you love, what you loathe. I don't know. There wasn't like major catastrophic things going on, but there was still a whole lot to cover. So let's dive in. So Martin Splitt had Jamie Indigo on his SEO Fairy Tales on the Google YouTube channel. Really cool episode, all about kind of diagnosing JavaScript SEO issues when basically 3 million product pages were de-indexed. So what Jamie did was she kind of walked Martin through all the different ways they kind of investigated the JavaScript in order to ensure that, figure out the problem, diagnose, and then be able to fix it. So like things like CDN caching, API calls breaking, block and load, and then ultimately like fixing the issue. Plus, they are very entertaining people. Definitely check out that episode. Great watch. On the Google Search YouTube channel, Daniel Weisberg actually put out another educational video, super helpful, all about using and exporting data from Google Search Console, and then doing some really cool things with it, just diving into the spreadsheets. It is very basic, but he provides some pivot formulas on how to enrich the data, either dividing it up by like subdirectories so you can analyze different segments of your data via Google Search Console, or enriching with country data, for instance. But you can use these concepts, these formulas, to do all sorts of slicing and dicing and segmentation. So really helpful video there, especially if you don't have a ton of experience building formulas in Google Sheets and whatnot. So one thing that's come up a lot lately in terms of rankings for Google is your freshness of your content, and how a lot of people kind of take advantage of it by just updating the date on their content and hoping that it would improve their rankings, which sometimes, a lot of times it does, without actually changing anything else on the blog post. Well, John Mueller answered a question from Sam Underwood talking about updating your XML Last Mod Tag. So using the meta tag in your XML sitemap to ultimately give Google the indication that it was updated. And John's recommendation is don't just do it if you're like just updating the date in the footer. If there's actually something meaningful update to the content that Google should know about, then it's appropriate to use that last mod tag updated. Okay, I got a page for you to bookmark. I don't know if you're ever working on content and you're looking for some really great research to support and beef up, your evidence and your proof, then I've got the site for you. Google actually has a dataset search engine called Dataset Search. Now, they're actually making it more easy for you to access. Natasha Noy and Omar Benjalon basically highlighted that now when you're searching in Google for like data, they'll actually put these datasets in their own featured snippets for you to access. You can go to the actual dataset search engine, datasetsearch.research.google.com, but it should show up in Google now. Just really cool feature. Start beefing up that content with original research. Super valuable, super valuable. Okay, on to AI and SEO. So first off, big announcement from OpenAI. They've made the ChatGPT API and the Whisper API available. So what you can now do is put your own version of ChatGPT on your website, in your app, or use Whisper, which is the audio to text translation, transcribing audio to text, basically using AI. Really cool accessibility. It's cheaper, it's faster, stuff is going to be getting done more efficiently. In fact, this is really cool. Our founder, Mike King, already built something on the iPullRank website. He trained it, which is key, on our own blog post. Now, there's a lot of tweaking and fine tuning, but imagine that. Imagine being able to train ChatGPT ChatGPT very effectively on your own content and then make it accessible to your audience. Keep your eyes peeled. I've got a blog post in the works about one really cool use case for that. But big news. What are you doing? Are you doing anything with the ChatGPT API or Whisper API? Let me know. Drop that in the comments. So remember, a couple weeks ago was Pubcon, and a lot of the really cool presentation slide decks have now been released. Two that were relevant to AI and SEO that were really cool. Aleyda Solis talked all about how to use different ChatGPT or AI tools in her SEO, expanding upon her initial blog post, but also sharing a lot of what she's been doing with Bing, some really interesting use cases. So you can check out the full slide deck. And then Lazarina Stoy also did a really cool presentation talking about both Google API's machine learning and some use cases for that, as well as OpenAI. She dives into, topic clustering, sentiment analysis, really cool like entity analysis, really cool use cases specifically for machine learning and API. Lazarina Stoy is brilliant. Definitely check out her deck as well. A little late, but Tom Demers on Search Engine Land put together a really cool guide around SEOs for ChatGPT prompts. What's cool about Tom is he highlights, so much QA, but different ideas in terms of keyword ideation, clustering, even code snippets for technical SEO of how you use ChatGPT, and then ultimately testing, like for the keyword stuff, testing with Ahrefs, because remember, it can't actually pull from the internet. It only came up to 2021. So whether you're like rewriting content or asking for ideas, those are great, but just publishing anything without fact checking or assuming that it can pull anything real time that's relevant now is problematic. Reading the rest of that post, he has some great insights and some great approaches so you don't shoot yourself in the foot just trying to have it do SEO for you, because that's not how it works. Then there were a couple of really great posts put out by WordLift. First, Andrea Volpini talked all about how you can use image SEO and AI. So how you can basically have AI identify what's going on in an image and then provide alt text. Really cool, shows this process, how it's evolved over time and how valuable it is, because alt text for images is super important, both for accessibility reasons, which is the most important, but then also for Google understanding what your images are about and providing them a little guidance. Then Amelia Georgievska put together an epic deep dive all around AI generation. She goes all over the place in terms of the past, the future, what's going on in the creator economy, her thoughts, what companies are going to do, who's going to win in the end. Great deep dive, which is an excellent compliment to iPullRank's brand new guide that you can download for free. It's AI and Content and SEO, Friend or Foe. I worked on this with my colleagues, Kyle Marino and Simon Sklernklar, basically going all into everything AI. What are the opportunities? What are the risks? How can you use it for SEO? 35 pages, really proud of it. So if you want to learn about how your organization needs to think about AI generation in SEO, in content, you can download the guide. The link is in the description. Awesome. And if you want to see me wax a little more poetic on ChatGPT and SEO, if you're not sick of it already, I joined Majestic and David Bain on a webinar all about ChatGPT for SEO. Alize Valdez was there, Joe O'Reilly, Ken Marshall, Gabriella Sanino from Level 343. It was an awesome hour conversation. Actually, you know what? Let's check out a quick clip from that webinar. Yeah, so the way I use it is I will, big caveat, which we all touched on at the beginning of this, is that understanding the limitations of the tool is really important when you go to content creation. Like, we're not at a point where you can just be like, create an entire blog post and expect it to have value. So I use it primarily in short bursts, short snippets of content that are easily editable and easily verifiable, because a lot of folks are trying to use these workflows as shortcuts. And we're realizing that at this point, the technology still requires a lot of human handholding. So I'll do, to Joe's point, a lot of ideation to inspire me to then take my content to the next level. Because the reality is ChatGPT is trained on so much information starting up to 2021 on the internet, including things like Reddit, So there's a lot of content out there that can be helpful, especially using it specifically for evergreen. And I also kind of like creating use cases with it to basically have it spur my creativity for specific support evidence without necessarily linking, but ideas of how things can be supported in a use case perspective. So and just touching the surface. I mean, I'm not going to get into all the technical SEO opportunities there, but those are my main use cases right now. Y'all check it out. I am hyped. iPullRank's teaming up with Market Muse, and we are doing a state of AI and SEO report, a survey. We need your help. So, sure, 10 to 15 minutes, but it'll totally be worth it. I'll get it over to you. I want you to let me know how you're using AI and SEO. What does your organization think about it? Do you plan on using it? Are you not? Are you scared? Give me the info. I genuinely appreciate it. There is a link to the survey in the description notes. We'll be collecting over the next couple of weeks. I'd love to get like 1 million people, 1 million SEOs to contribute to it. But if not, just you would help. And if you have any SEO friends in your community, please share the link with them as well. Thank you in advance. So there you go. So much fun. If you have any thoughts when it comes to ChatGPT for SEO, I'd love to hear it. Leave it in the comments. Drop me a note. I'm on Twitter, Garrett Sussman. It'd be cool to chat a little bit more because I geek out over this stuff. It's so much fun. So in the world of SEO Twitter, Alton Lex has been putting out some really cool SEO threads with Python code and free scripts and all this jazz. One that you got to pay attention to, he did last week, was all about this like ultimate keyword research, building a template, basically collects all of Google suggest keywords and then uses recursive using query templates. So you put in your one query topic and then it builds out a massive list that you can then, cluster into different topic clusters, whatnot, and do for your content strategy. So he's done a few other really great threads worth paying attention to. Second Twitter thread, which I thought was really awesome, was Carl Hendy talking all about branded keywords and how valuable and underrated they are. So basically taking your brand and then accompanying with another keyword and then doing your research and making sure you've got that covered with your content, whether it's reviews or locations or a whole variety of examples that he put together. It's one of those that seems like a duh moment, and yet so many people don't think about it when it comes to content creation. So make sure you're appearing for those branded keywords and check out that thread from Carl. And then on Friday, Women in Tech SEO WTSFest happened in the States. It was the first US-based Women in Tech SEO festival with a bunch of really qualified speakers, awesome presentations from like Miriam Jessier and Shima Meje and so many more. If you missed it, but you wanted to see everything that was going on, Lydia Infante was pretty much live tweeting the whole event. So go to her Twitter page, Twitter profile, and check out the various posts that she made throughout the day of all the different awesome presentations. Looked like so much fun. Incredible. Congratulations for Arij Abu Ali for putting together what looks like a fantastically successful event. So some other big news that happened was that Traffic Think Tank, which is this awesome paid SEO Slack community with a massive library and a bunch of events, founded by Nick Eubanks, Ian Howells, Matthew Howells Barbie, was actually sold to SEMrush. And Nick Eubanks is actually joining them in terms of digital media acquisition. So congratulations to those guys. But David Broderick wrote this great roundup post on Traffic Think Tank with all of these SEO experienced consultants and SEO practitioners sharing the times that they've had major SEO fails. Even the best of us have messed stuff up, whether it's de-indexing massive portions of the site and not realizing it, or really just messing with a website migration that goes absolutely wrong. So many interesting ones, and this is comprehensive and a lot of respected people in the industry. So if you want to feel better about yourself when it comes to SEO, that we all make mistakes, it's definitely a post worth visiting. So Kevin Indig has a great newsletter, the Growth Memo, where he posts it on his website as well. And his most recent one is all about this idea of running SEO on the right operating system, which is this interesting framework that he's thinking about. He uses Facebook as an example, that it's like data-driven SEO because they have such a large amount of data from a massive total addressable market, which is basically everyone. So they can make data-driven SEO decisions and have it be like product-led SEO, as opposed to most companies where maybe the majority of their leads and their sales-driven SaaS enterprise or self-service enterprise are from like just a few blog posts. And so in that case, the data-driven decisions aren't as effective when you don't have enough data in the first place. So you need to use more qualitative assessments like surveys and user qualitative information. I think Kevin explains it really well. He gives this kind of framework and how you can assess whether or not it's better to use a product-led operating system versus a marketing-led operating system. Check that out. If you ever worked on SEO for a marketplace, you can imagine that there are so many nuances because it's a unique situation where you're appealing to two completely different audiences, typically like buyers and sellers. There's a lot of user-generated content. And so how you handle, indexing or not indexing or, categorizing or the site architecture can be really complicated. Fortunately, Brody Clark has a great article that he put out all around like pillars that you need to think about when you're working on SEO for marketplaces, including what to do with the listing pages, the user-generated content, whether it's like reviews or images and the quality therein, localization, how to focus on localization when it comes to content and accessibility, and then minimizing page exclusions, and then finally thinking about informational content on your blog and how you can, basically build topical authority by siloing them and then topic clustering them appropriately. So cool article there by Brody worth checking out. So in the world of local SEO, one of my favorite writers, Miriam Ellis, put together another great article for the Moz blog all around shelfies, using shelfies in your local business websites and profiles to generate interest. One thing that she's highlighted, and Mike Blumenthal mentioned this in a recent Product Experts webinar, is that Google is getting really, really good at identifying actual objects in images. So imagine if you're taking a shelfie, a picture of your store with a whole variety of products, Google is going to be able to pick out what those products are, and then ultimately that can influence and show up in search in a local map pack, or just in general. If you're looking with a local search intent query and you have that image in there, it will probably show up. I remember seeing this back in the day. It's not a shelfie, but in the hospitality industry, like a image of a hotel with a pool. If you search for a hotel with a pool, then that pool will actually show up. Miriam shows the examples of using like engagement ring jewelry in San Francisco or diamond rings, but in general, as Google gets better understanding these images, it's so critical to include that either in your Google business profile, on your website, on any other like listing site that allows for images like Yelp or, Etsy, any e-commerce site, even if you are in a local capacity, and then using it in social media, so many places. Great article by Miriam. Definitely start taking more photos, just general photos, not individual products, the shelfie. This week, I had SEO business consultant Mark A. Preston on the Rankable podcast. We talked all about, kind of making that argument for budget in the C-suite. Specifically, really cool concept from Mark is all around trying to get a test budget. You need to come to the boardroom with proof. It's not all about education. You need to prove that SEO works. So sometimes it's all about, hey, let's test this out. Can I have a little bit of budget? If it's successful, let's run with it. Let's double down. Let's ramp up budget on SEO and use that strategy to get your SEO campaigns in place. Let's hear real quick in a clip what Mark had to say.
I'm not seeing massive changes. There's always been two sides. Either, C-suite that don't really understand the value, and all you're doing is battling, trying to get the budget, trying to make them understand the value. Then you've got the other side where, yes, we've got all this money, let's make it happen. and a lot of it is education, but the missing link is so many head of SEOs try and go into the board level educating without results. They're trying to educate without proving traction, without proving tracking, So they'll say, well, we need all this money and we're going to do all these fancy things and we're probably going to achieve this. Well, okay, why not go in and say, look, can we have a tester budget to try something out? And I'll come back to you with the evidence that, yes, it's worth investing more money into the pot. And that's how you overcome those sort of challenges.
So if you want to hear everything that Mark has to say about getting involved in SEO, the SEO community, and pitching SEO and getting budget from the C-suite, check out the full Rankable podcast episode that is on our YouTube, or the link is in the description notes. Man, you want to see some really good product marketing? Well, over on the Cloudflare blog, basically Christian Freeman and Neil Kinchy created a tool called Prospector using some of the newer tools within Cloudflare, D1 and Qs to store and retrieve information. Basically, what they created was an internal linking tool, which highlights if keywords appear on a blog post, it'll email the appropriate person so you can take advantage of this internal link opportunity. Really cool kind of case study of using their own tools to build a new tool on Cloudflare, which has SEO purposes. And we always appreciate opportunities to improve our internal linking and SEO. So great job, guys. Check it out. See if you can use it. They have the GitHub repo that you can clone and use on your own website. There you have it. Another episode of the SEO Weekly in the books. No major massive news, and of course we're talking more AI and SEO. Definitely download our book if you haven't already, the ebook AI and Content and SEO, Friend or Foe. Anyway, thanks for watching another episode. If you haven't already and you're into this stuff, please subscribe to the channel, give us a like, share a comment, let me know what you think. My name is Garrett Sussman of iPullRank, and I will catch you next week.